Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about benefits and limitations of primary sources. And so, even though we're excited to find something actually produced in the time period we're studying, we still have to evaluate that source very carefully because every source will have benefits and limitations to it, even primary sources. And so, we start with looking at who created this source? Is it a person or an organization? To what extent does that person or organization have an agenda or a bias? We look at how the author knows what happened. How close was that person to the event in time and place? Where was the document created? The closer we are in time and place to what happened, usually the better. The recollections are fresher and there's less time for other opinions to be influencing the writer. What was the historical context of that time period and that source? So when the person was writing, they were writing in that time and within the beliefs of that time. And so to what extent are those beliefs and feelings about a particular event impacting the way the person presented the event? What is the person's main point? Is there a tone that you can detect? Is there sarcasm? Is there evidence? What are they trying to get across? And then why was the source created in the first place? Is the person trying to inform you of something or persuade people of something? Sources can be things like advertisements. They can be, playbills, just straight information. Here's the program that was happening. Or persuasive articles. So always having a look at why did the person put this source out into the world? We have to remember that every source has some kind of a bias. And so we want to look and compare the source to others written at that time or produced at that time and see if we can get a sense of a difference between this source we're looking at and others from the same time period. If the source is a translation of another language, it would be great to try to find other translations and see if the translator had any sort of bias seeping in to the way that the source was written. We want to look at the audience that was intended. So is the source meant for a large audience? What kind of group of people was it intended for? Or was it written for a very small audience, perhaps an audience of one? So in the case of a diary, all kinds of questions come up. Did the person write in a way that makes him or her look better? Did the person write very, very accurate and possibly damning information, thinking that it would never be seen by another person? So lots and lots of things to imagine when you're looking at documents from the past. And it's all about trying to kind of triangulate your source, your primary source, and some secondary sources, other primary sources at the time, to see if you can glean the most truth about the primary source you have in front of you. So it's kind of like being a detective.